My name is Brittany Allyn, and today on Savor the Flavors, we are repurposing leftovers. Oftentimes I find they're even better that way. I'll share with you my recipe for whipped potato tots. Now, to make whipped potato tots, of course you need leftover whipped potatoes. So last night I made my sage and garlic infused whipped potatoes. I took 2 pounds of russet potatoes, peeled them and cut them into 3-inch chunks. I put them in a deep pot, covered them with water, took them to the stove, added a little salt and brought them to a boil. Once they came to a boil, I boiled them for 12 minutes. While that was going on, in another saucepan, I heated 2/3 cup milk. I added to it 2 cloves of garlic that had been lightly smashed and 6 fresh sage leaves. And what that does is it just sort of allows the sage and the garlic to just steep in that milk and infuse the milk, and as a result, infuse the potatoes with great flavor. Once the potatoes were cooked, I drained them. I added them to the bowl of my electric mixer. I also strained the milk and then just added some of the milk and started beating the potatoes. Then I added 4 tablespoons of butter, the remaining milk, and just whipped the potatoes until they were nice and smooth and creamy. And then I seasoned them to taste with some salt and pepper. Now, that's my whipped potato story. Now, for my whipped potato tots, as you can see, I've already shaped them. They look nice and perfect, and it's very, very simple to do. What I do is, it's best to work with the potatoes while they're still cold. And so I just take them from the refrigerator, and on a piece of wax paper, just sort of pat them out to about a 1/2 inch thickness. Then I took a small biscuit cutter that's about 1.5 inches in diameter and just started cutting out my tots, and that's what we have right here. Now, I had 3 cups of the whipped potatoes. That results in about 5 dozen tots. We're going to bread them. I have a breading station set up here with flour, egg whites. I like to use just the egg whites. I think it makes them crispier, and also a panko breadcrumb mixture. We're just going to take them and start dredging here. And the panko mixture I made earlier, it's panko breadcrumbs, which are Japanese breadcrumbs, and I put 2 cups in my food processor. To that, I added a 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and I just processed that until I had a nice texture on the breading. Now, when we're making our tots, you want to work in batches when you're deep frying because you don't want to overcrowd the deep fryer. You want to keep the oil up to temperature. Incidentally, my oil is heated to 350 degrees. When you have some ready to go, just sort of carefully drop them into the hot oil and cook them until they're nice and brown and crispy. I always like to serve my whipped potato tots with a little ketchup. I guess it's the kid in me, they just kind of go together. Now here's a tip, because we make these in batches, I always keep my oven preheated to 200 degrees, and I put a baking sheet in there with a cooling rack on top, and as I'm making my tots, I put them on top of that rack, and that keeps them warm and also crispy until we're ready to serve them. Now, I don't know about you, but I think it's time to taste a tot. Dip it in that ketchup. Did you hear that? Nice crunch. But the inside is so nice and creamy, and that sage and garlic just gives it a little extra flavor. The next time you have some leftover whipped potatoes, I'd love for you to savor the flavors of my whipped potato tots.